This is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to the WHTC Morning News for this Friday, March 18th. Breaking a little bit from format, partly because of the importance of the news, but also somewhat tied in to the fact that our newscast dealt with norovirus. So why don't we deal with some medical issues? Some big doings over at Holland Hospital. It is a step, according to their press release, in its internal succession plan that takes effect on April 1st, 2022. And on the other side of our Zoom connection this morning is Dale Sowders, Patti VanDort, and Mark Pawlak. They are part of the revamped and new leadership team at Holland Hospital. To all three of you, good morning and welcome to WHTC.
Good morning, Gary.
Glad you are with us. And why I am pleased to have especially Mr. Sowders join us. Mark, I remembered when you first came on board at Holland Hospital in 2002, one of the early times during my tenure here. And, you know, we both have gotten a few more gray hairs since that time, but certainly it has been a good 20-year run, but you are now becoming the CEO and vice chair of the Holland Hospital Board of Directors. Before you talk about your new challenges, talk about the 20 years as the president of Holland Hospital, Dale.
Well, let me say that it's a privilege to serve in this role and with this community. I was introduced to Holland in 1999, and I think part of the reflection of how special the community is, I'm actually only the seventh CEO who has served here in 105 years. So our 20-year run really has been marked by developments in the community, most especially how much it's grown, how much the demographic, the economic base has evolved. We've had to evolve with that. So, for instance, back then, I don't have this precise number, Gary, but I would guess we had a medical staff of about 200, and that stands at 600 today. So that's just one little picture of how healthcare has evolved, and we've needed to offer broader service offerings in specialty and subspecialty care, and also where we're based geographically. Today, that runs from South Haven to Grand Haven and out Zeeland to the east and beyond.
I would love to be able to talk about the accomplishments over the last 20 years at Holland Hospital, Dale, about the expansion and how it has changed both physically and in service. But we are a little bit constrained on time, so I do want Patti to join us. Patti VanDort is the Senior Vice President for Hospital Operations. She'll become the Holland Hospital President. And you know what, Patti? Being a lot of focus on women's history and women's accomplishments in the month of March, this is a pretty good time for you to be named president of Holland Hospital.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, it's a very exciting time for me. You know, I'm a Holland Hospital lifer. I've been with the organization since 1987 and started as a staff nurse and got to grow up here. And so it's a place that I love deeply. And as Dale alluded to, you know, it's evolved greatly over the years. You know, Gary, I remember working as a staff nurse. And times have, you know, just the technology and the clinical advancements we've seen, you know, are just phenomenal. And it's a privilege to be a leader here. And I've gotten to do that with this group for the last 20 years. And our focus, you know, remains as it has. And that's really focusing on providing great value to our community and keeping care local. And so Dale talked about some of the expansion we're doing, some of the advancement in clinical programs. And for me now as a nurse and as a female, as you talked about, stepping into this role, it's about making sure we've got great care for our community and trying to serve the local community as best we can. And we'll continue doing that for hopefully the next decade and beyond.
Mark Pawlak, who is the Senior Vice President of Operations, will become the Executive Vice President. And Mark, I'll throw this question at you. What led to the decision of making the change? And it's called the Internal Succession Plan. But, Dale, you've been here for 20 years and would love to have you for a longer time. But, we all have to move along. And tell us about this plan and how these changes that are announced today really fit into this overall scheme of things.
Sure. Thanks, Gary. I had the pleasure of joining Holland Hospital in 1998. And Dale joined right around that same time, along with another one of our colleagues who formed a group of 5 that served in the executive role for this full 20-year period. And with the support of our board of directors, made up of community members from our area here, we felt together that a succession plan that developed people from within and perpetuated what we've developed in our culture, in our relationships with each other, with our physicians, with our community, that was in the best interest of continuing on this trajectory versus what some organizations might do, and that would be to go out to the market and recruit all new leadership. So I think what we've been receiving from our physicians and from our staff is a great deal of support, faces they know, people that they have come to trust, and people that they understand in terms of their vision for the organization. They're feeling good about the continuity. And I think that is the key reason for this. We're developing people to succeed us as well, and we want to keep that momentum going.
My last question is for any of you 3, and I want to sort of look forward. We know that the future of healthcare has changed and has evolved over the years. We have seen facilities merge with other facilities. Healthcare has changed in that regard. It seems as if Holland Hospital, although working well with other facilities, still it's a neighborhood and a community setting. It doesn't have the community hospital name. That went a while back. But where do you see Holland Hospital going over the next few years? Be it, Dale, you could talk from your past experience, or perhaps Patti or Mark, as you are the new leadership coming in. Where is Holland Hospital going in the short term and perhaps, dare we say, long term?
I'll answer the short term and our objective over the 20 years, Gary, and that is we believe that we have a stewardship to this community and through our board of directors. All of them are local. As you said, unfortunately, in the challenges of healthcare economics, there are not many hospitals our size that are able to remain independent. In fact, there are only 10 independent hospitals in the state of Michigan today, and we're one of those. As such, we feel we can best serve the area with local leadership and with visioning, with physicians who live, work here, our nursing staff. They are with children in these schools. They attend these churches. They're embedded in this community, and they expect that we are responsive to those needs. And I'll defer to Patti here to comment on the challenge of continuing to evolve as they evolve.
Yeah, Gary, we've had the same mission or the same vision statement, for some time, and we want to continue that vision into the future, which is to, in partnership with our medical staff, to be the preeminent standalone, so independent, if you will, as Dale said, making decisions locally, hospital in West Michigan. And to do that, we need to continue with great customer service. We need to continue to grow our business. We need to have a strong and steady financial performance. And most certainly, we've got to deliver clinical excellence to our community. So we will continue in that vein. But as you alluded to, it is important to have partnerships. We want to keep the care local. That makes sense to keep local. But we are a mid-sized community hospital. And we don't offer some of those tertiary level services. So it is important for us to have good partnerships for folks that need to leave our community for those services. And we'll continue to look for partners that help us keep that care local.
Patti VanDort, the new president of Holland Hospital, Mark Pawlak, the executive vice president, and Dale Sowders will become the CEO and vice chair of the Holland Hospital Board of Directors. I want to thank all three of you for joining us this morning on WHTC's Morning News, and invite all of you anytime if you want to stop by, or we'll do this in Zoom as well. Be happy to chat with you not only about Holland Hospital, but about healthcare as well, and some of the challenges the industry has had. We appreciate your time on such short notice today.
Thank you, Gary. It's our privilege.
Good day, Gary.
Thank you very much. On 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.